Definitely not the most beautiful backdrop I have ever shown you. Oh yeah, and the construction site. Isn't Italy so beautiful? Can't you tell by how beautiful these walls are? They're so pretty, right? I've never shown you anything pretty about Italy, but again, this is not the travel channel, and we're here to talk about serious stuff. Actually, today I want to share with you something, I guess, a little more personal. So if you have followed me on Instagram, you would notice that way back, I think maybe 6 months ago now, 6 or 7 months ago now, I posted something with the hashtag FEARSTRICTION. I probably have not been really good about explaining what this is, so I thought I would take this opportunity to explain to you what FEARSTRICTION is for me, and sort of what it means in terms of me ending up with hypothalamic amenorrhea, or amenorrhea in general. I also don't know if I have mentioned as many times as I should that I actually have celiac disease. It's genetic and you're born with it. When I was a baby back in the 70s, did I just say that out loud? They used to say that we had colic and always seemed to have air in our tummies. My parents can tell you stories about how I used to just scream in pain all the time. My poor brother, who's 4 years older than me, used to hide under his bed because he couldn't stand hearing me scream and cry. I was not diagnosed with celiac disease until I was 25 years old. From what I understand about celiac disease, even though it's genetic, the gene doesn't always express itself until there is a particular trauma to the body that creates a situation where that gene comes out and rears its ugly head in my case. So when I was 25, I was going through a pretty stressful time. I had just gotten married to the wrong guy. I was eating really poorly because we were moving 3 days after the wedding. I just was feeling so sick, and it was really, really awful. I felt like I had some kind of flu, but it was the worst flu I had ever had, and I just didn't know what was going on. My ex-husband at the time was in medical school, and he was like, "You know what this sounds like?" And I'm like, "Nah, you have no idea what you're talking about, dude. You're just a medical student. And I'm gonna divorce you in a year and a half anyway, so what do you know?" Apparently he was right. He said he sounded like celiac, and it actually ended up that was the case. So my entire life, my history has always been a history of associating food with pain. When I was a kid, I never really knew why I was always in pain. I had severe abdominal pain all the time, to the point where sometimes even on family vacations or maybe even sleepovers or times when I was supposed to be socializing or hanging out with friends or family, I would find myself on the floor somewhere in a bedroom or on a bed, just curled up in a fetal position, listening to, at the time, I would listen to my Walkman or whatever, and just try to zone out, listen to music, and ignore the pain. It was really bad. The dietary changes were not hard, because for me, it would mean that I would have a solution, something that I could proactively do to not feel this kind of pain and have all the other side effects that I had. Over the years, as is the case for some people with celiac disease who have massive intestinal damage due to all of the destruction happening over the years, some people have other food sensitivities and allergies and problems associated with celiac disease. I am one of these people. So there is a huge list of foods that I cannot eat. I have to be really careful. If I'm not careful, I've had a bunch of different things happen. I've ended up in the hospital on a couple of occasions. I also have just ended up with some severe pain or discomfort, or swelling for a few days, and it's not fun. It just moves you out of commission and makes you feel depressed and out of control and sad and scared. So how does this relate to amenorrhea? Well, so over time, I developed a certain fear about eating certain foods. I would get nervous about the preparation of the food or how it was done or what it was near or maybe what was going to contaminate it and make me sick. And so I would stop myself from eating a lot of foods. Also because I associated the pain that I would get by eating rice or pasta with all other starchy carbohydrates. So from potato, I also excluded sweet potato, and from sweet potato, I better just exclude all hard squashes too. And then from rice, ooh, definitely not buckwheat. That's kind of going to be like rice, I bet. And then because I have problems with oats, it was like, okay, then definitely not, quinoa or whatever else stupid logic I told myself that I should not be eating any of those things because they had the potential to cause me pain. So it doesn't take you long to figure out that after a while you're just excluding out of fear from getting sick, because remember, I have this legitimate reason to be afraid, but I don't have a legitimate reason to be obsessive. Obsessively afraid is definitely how I would describe myself back then. So remember, I'm the last person to make excuses for myself. That's certainly not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is explain to you how kind of sliding down this slippery slope of cutting foods out because I was afraid for a serious reason is what I called FEARSTRICTION, what eventually led to me underfueling massively for my ultra running training. Since trying to get my period back and adjust my nutrition, I've made a lot of changes, and at first they were really scary. I have to admit that it was helpful to talk about these changes with the people closest to me. And for example, my boyfriend helps me a lot with a lot of this stuff. He's the person who sits with me at every meal, and he's with me when we go out to eat or when we prepare food at home. And I'll say to him, okay, I haven't eaten this food in, 5, 10, 15 years in some cases. We try not to make it stressful, and you know what? It's been pretty great. In a lot of cases, the foods that I was afraid to eat because I thought they would cause me pain don't cause me pain at all, and in some cases they still do, but that's okay. I don't have to be afraid. I don't eat a large quantity of them the first time. I kind of ease into it. It's actually kind of been fun in some cases. I really hadn't eaten popcorn in, I'm not kidding, probably 16 or 17 years, and I started eating it again, and I really enjoy it. And I think it's a good source of fiber and carbohydrates, and I like it. It's good to talk about these things. There should be no taboo anymore. I'm so sick of the taboos. Let's talk about all of it, okay? Let's just talk about it. It's fine. Fear wins through silence. And so if we just give in and don't talk about things, they grow bigger and fatter and worse. Oh man, I've had to stop this video about 100 times for the train going by and also the construction guys, and my hair is still wet, and so I'm sorry if this was a little disjointed. Don't forget to find me on Facebook, also Instagram, both at acaseofthejills, and also don't forget acaseofthejills.com. There'll be lots of fun stuff to come. I hope that this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Please follow me, like, and subscribe here, and I will see you soon. Oh, here comes the train. Bye.